Right, and that is full screen. Why is my PC so laggy right now? What the hell's happening? Anyways, is that looped? Oh, that's music. Oh, looped, perfect, awesome. All right. Here's your water. What's good? How are you guys this fine day? I am sweaty, very gross, sticky, not good. But did a lot today, and by that I mean one big ass task of washing a vehicle that might have been very sedentary, because yes, actually it doesn't make any sense. The vehicle has a heater basically, but not a cooler, not an AC. So arguably I should drive it in the winter and not in the summer. But the roads are so fucked in Canada when it comes to winter that it's like, I could avoid it, you know? So anyways, I had to clean that, which is like, there's like embedded grime in there. Rough, but my Jeep is looking, it's the best. What is good, Lone Syndicate? How are you this fine day? Also, Fluff was here first. Fluff was lurking, which is a little abnormal. I seen him pop, he was like, before when I just logged in, I seen him pop out of the shadows, and I was like, fuck, what is that? And I was like, why are you here so early? Also, Lone Syndicate says, I'm doing great. I watched Spy X Family episode 12, and I loved it. Ooh, I'd love to hear it. Is it finished now, finally? I don't know, Lone Syndicate. I want to watch it, but like, to me, okay, so I'm watching Umbrella Academy right now. It's just a nice little respite, you know what I mean? We're gonna get back into anime, but good little breakup thing. It's also good to see if there's any sort of like value. Well, usually for like, if you cover Netflix stuff, it's because just most people have access to Netflix. It's just the highest streaming site service people have opted into. So when you talk about a show, whether it's going to be a season 2 or any sort of progression in that sense, there's a high probability that people will check that video out. So even just for metric testing, I would like to watch it all and talk about it just to see how it can be. But yeah. Yeah. Also, this game, just a side thing, this game, there's moments where if you're watching it, it looks like excruciatingly detailed. Like to the point where I'm like, God damn. Like the face, you can see pores, like woof. Also looks very cool. Cute. We'll say that. Cute. Making sure little bros okay, all that. But yes, also, the English dub finishes now. Oh, I see, gotcha. But it is wrapped up though, Lone Syndicate. Like Spy X Family is tied off perfectly. Also, what's good, Hedis? Hedis says, squeaky clean, squeaky clean. We hit that stuff, first you blast off with the water, and then because it's got like all that dirt sitting on top of it, blast it off with the water, then you, now that it's wet and you've blasted off some of the dirt, you wipe it down, otherwise you're gonna scratch the share car by like using a sponge and like scratching the dirt into the paint, not good. Little tiny micro scratches, not good. Anyways, then you blast off the like soapy water, and then this is the trick to making it look beautiful. You have to hit it with a towel, basically. You have to wipe, like, spray it down again, because if you're cleaning it in the sun, it's gonna dry up that car immediately. It's gonna melt off the heat or melt off the water. So you need to wet it again, and then wipe it off with a towel, dry towel. Then you get that sheen. Except I used a towel that it was a little flaky, and there's like little white flakes on my car. But yes, also, man, what do you call it, Hedis? I'm not sure if it's just me, but there are certain tasks that are like undeniably physically exhausting to some extent. Or maybe it's just the metric of like you're in the sun, your hands are like soapy and watery and gross. And yeah, it's just like cleaning your car, vacuuming a whole ass house, stuff like that is just like, for whatever reason, my body is caked in sweat. Mind you, I can like run and like exercise fine, but it's just that shit that makes my body go, oh. Maybe it's because it's just different enough. It's just enough chaos. Also, what's good, Divine? Divine says, hey Grim, a long time no see. Has it really been that long? What's good, man? Hope you've been taking care of yourself. Finally able to catch a stream. Love to have you, my friend. How has life been treating you? How are you this fine Saturday? Lone Syndicate says, but yes, it is finished. Core 1 is, anyway, oof, man. I just seen, they're doing such a good job, man. I think they like gave, I think they hired like an intern or something to run the Funimation dub channel that is now Crunchyroll dub, because that is becoming like a lifeline of torture for me, but also like super succeeding on like making me want to watch these shows, you know what I mean? And yeah, and there's like always like a link to the exact episode where the clip is, so I'm just tempted to be like, fuck it, I'll just see what episode 4 is, because it looks really cool. And yeah. Like it makes something that was like, ooh, I heard about that show, it's kind of cool, to like, it'll sell you a moment in the show where you're like, fuck, fine, I guess I have to see it. Like it changed it from like, okay, maybe it could be for me. It seems like it checks a lot of the boxes, but then you see a clip of it actually like executing comedy or executing like a badass moment, and you're like, fine. Like for me, the best example of that is World Domination something. Basically, villain and superhero partner up and like become husbando, waifu nonsense things. Yes. That one I think I would have put it into like the category of like, I'll watch it, but not like immediately. Like I'll need to watch it. But after watching the clips, I'm like, this is too cute. This is just real wholesome, real warm, cozy. And now it's high on that list. And I'm like, God damn them people. But also, it is definitely a different person who's running it, because I've been subscribed to Funimation Dubs, Funimation's like channel forever. And it's always weird. They're marketing and stuff. Like they're great at dubbing, but they're fucking weird at like marketing their content and stuff like that. And yeah, but then no, they gave like the channel to an intern that knows how to sell anime essentially, and they're killing it. At least that's my perspective. But yes. Divine says, all right, I read that. Red says, hey, Red, have you dabbled in the shows yet? And did I miss? Because you need to tell me when I miss if those shows were not for you, that I suggested you, Dimache and Overlord. Because, yes, or did you delay yourself from watching them again? Just watch episode 1 and see if it pulls you in. He just says, so much excitement cleaning your car. Really? I don't have that, man. I don't know what it is. Some people really have like, it's my baby, it's my car. And I've whatever like male DNA strain that is in so many people, I've just lost. I have not had. I have no interest in. You know what I mean? Like, what do you call it? PewDiePie just uploaded a video where he's like chilling in Japan. And they're great. But one of the videos is him in a Tesla. And that, man, I don't know if it's the camera he's using, but that shit seemed like there's a lot of space in that car. Like, it just seems like it's the future, but also, like, you're kind of sitting there and you're like, there's, like, so much room just for, like, my arms just to open up. Like, it's weird. It looks like you're in, like, a fucking limo with giant-ass space. Or it was just a fish cam lens. But I don't think it was, because everything else didn't look like fish cammed, you know? Or fish-eyed lens. Lone Syndicate says, my only thing I wish the show did more is have more Yor and what she does during her time she is away from the family. Oh, the assassin lady? Yeah. Well, what do you call it? It's hilarious because so many people have like, and it makes perfect sense for how good the show is and why it is so good, because it's what do you call it? What was the show that I talked to you guys about it before, but it was to me it made sense for, that's what it was, the show that was called My Dress Up Darling. I was wondering why that show like took the internet by storm hard. Like it was everywhere, and I thought maybe it was like the itchy aspect of it, but it wasn't that. I watched it wasn't that. And I think what I deduced from that was that, oh no, they made a male character that was likable for women, and also a woman character that was likable to men, and also vice versa. So both of those characters basically were just good people that were fun to watch. I think Spy X Family is doing the same thing, where like if you like cutesy kind of lighthearted weirdness, what do you call it? Anna, the kid, is that for you? If you like a badass fucking cute but also shy but also like a fucking animal, you got a what do you call it? The mother figure, whatever, Yor or whatever her name is. And if you want like also the husband dude is like a Giga Chad. Also, he is like aesthetically as hell. Like there's something about like a person in a suit, but then also a person in like a fucking what is it called? Like a house husband outfit, but also like in shape. You know what I mean? Or like he's wearing like a bandana, but a nice clean shirt. His hair's all messy and shit, and he's cleaning. And I'm like, I can understand how this is like aesthetic from every possible angle from all of these other people, you know? And also the plot line's just batshit, so it's just fun in that regard too. But I think it applies to so many different people that can like enjoy a certain aspect of it. So it's hard that it misses, which I think is brilliant storytelling. He just says, doing anything I normally do always makes me tired. Yeah, really? Doing anything makes you tired? He is? Oof, man. What do you call it? No, to me, I find it's always the stuff that I would undermine it being tiresome. Like mopping, sweeping, vacuuming. Vacuuming is like you're just pushing this big ass like machine. Maybe it's just my memories of like older like vacuums which were huge, and my parents didn't like level up like buy better vacuums until way later. But I just remember like fucking this heavy ass box that you were pushing around, and I was like, oh my god. But also, I was like a twig up until I was 18, meaning I had no muscle at all. So that might have also contributed. There's like a muscle memory of like exhaustion in that. Lone Sitting, it says, another thing that made my day is one of my music creators I listened to made a rap about Spy X Family, and he got his daughter and wife to do verses for Yor and Anna. That was good. That sounds awesome. You may want to put that in the Share Your Grin tab also. Oh, I didn't know this. Can the kid like summon forth like the plague? That's kind of metal as fuck, dude. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so is the kid himself kind of like a... That's kind of dope. That's brutal as hell. Is it him or her? It must be him who's like, I'm murdering all these people with this plague. Woof. Anyways. What's good, Wookie? I love the name. I love the name so much. Oh, what a great name. I hope you're here often, Wookie. Wookie says, hey, Grin. Never got to be in the chat while it was active before. I played Let It Die and actually looked for your guides. Thank you so much, because they had the most info and were the most help. Thank you so much. I was worried it was going to take a spin. Thanks, but I hope things are going well for you. Thank you so much for even putting up with me for a minute, man. I appreciate that you got so much, you enjoyed the video in any way. Yeah, I did my best to try to break things down in an understandable way. I'm happy that you found any value in them. Thank you kindly for giving me a chance, by the way. Thank you. Also keeping up with me, even if you're not watching the current content. I appreciate you caring enough to do that. Lone Sitting, it says, while a fitted suit, a fedora, badass spy. See, the fedora I don't think works. I think it just works because Lude is literally like he's a male model. He's like a literal male model. You know, a suit can add. A fedora takes away. Okay? A fedora takes away. Now, granted, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if you are slim in a suit and rock a fedora, maybe. But whenever I see a fedora be worn, there's certain things that come with it. I don't want to be judgy. There's certain things that come with it. And I always feel like it's like this does not add or help with shape, structure, skin pigment, all the things that kind of make up cohesive matching and style and whatnot. But yes, but we should not overlook the fact that Lude is literally a male model. Red says, I've watched up to episode 7 of Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in Dungeons? So far, I'm really enjoying it. Most of it so far. Yes! Yes, I will say, Red, some of the seasons are better than others for that show. I'm curious what you think about the ones that come after. Because, yeah. But you say you're enjoying it so far. My favorite character is Lily. Yeah, Hestia. Yeah, Lily's so good. Actually, you're at episode 7, so I think you're past. Are you past Lily's redemption kind of part where she kind of joins the Familia? Probably. But Red, to me, it's they do such. That's like a testament. Okay, no, you haven't got to that part. Okay, I'm gonna shut that. I'm gonna say it. But can't wait. Let me know when you do get to that point, Red. Yes. While Belle is kind of annoying me a bit, but he's grown. Really? Oh man, to me, that's I feel the opposite. I feel like Belle caught me in the middle. You know what? What happened, Red? What do you call it? what got me with Bell is the very first episode, which I've never seen any pro tag do, but he's basically like he's like running away. Also, yeah, if you haven't gotten to the point where Bell comes in for a Lily, then you'll like him. I promise. If you get to that point, unless you don't, unless you've already been you already seen that, then never mind. But there's a point where you're like, goddamn. Anyways, but in the first episode, Bell basically. He's talking to his like handler, essentially. It's like the adventure guild secretary who like looks out for him, and on his way out he says, "I love you, Aina," and just trucks along. And I was like, I have never seen a protagonist be like so heroically honest. Like, I think Bell encapsulates the best traits of the hero, I guess. And almost to like some heroes are like naive in a way, and they're like, you feel frustrated with like this would not add up in real life. Like, you would get so many people killed with this perspective or whatever, right? But in Bell's case, to me, it genuinely feels like childlike hope and wonder for him being this way, and I love that. So that, to me, that got me hook, line, and sinker on there. Lone Syndicate says, the reason I like Spy X Family, because I like spies and I like assassins, and I like a wholesome, cute things. Plus, I also like waifus like your. Yeah. That to me is kind of what I'm talking about. I think it's like, given it hits so many baseline things that most people find regardless interesting, that I think that contributes to why it's successful. But also does those things well, so that's a testament to the writing skill as well. Also, Red, you might be upset with Bell because of his love interest, and you're like, what the fuck, Bell? I feel ya. That makes no sense. You're also... Yeah, now that you mention it, Bell is like wholesome and like you want to get behind him, but he is an idiot. his choices and preferences are toxic and negative, we'll say the least. One thing I kind of don't like is that every girl seems to be fawning over Bell so easily, compared to Kirito. I like that Kirito was a loner, and people dislike him early on for being better than earning respect later. Yeah, so if you like the kind of more like realistic rebellion kind of like story, then Overlord probably way more up your alley. But I will say, to me, I had a different experience with that, Red, because for me, Bell is genuinely charismatic. Like, there's so many times where I see a character in like a harem show that's so fucking basic and like numb. He's basically like, to me, this is how most shows do romance. Instead of making a character genuinely unique and genuinely a good person and genuinely have traits that people like, they dissolve those traits down so that people can kind of like superimpose themselves on them. So like, if somebody's like a rich doctor, a person who like has a minimum wage job at XYZ would probably not be able to like vicariously live through this person, I guess, or like experience what they're liking, essentially, because they can't feel that connection, essentially. So oftentimes they're basically dissolved into like tropes, essentially. Oftentimes it's like, the isekai genre is like, I was a loser, but in this new life, if I was given a new chance, I would be great. And sometimes it makes sense. Like, Jobless does, I think I've heard about it, and it seems like it does a good job about like, what if you had a horrible, like, what if you like shit away every opportunity you could possibly have, and you may be reconciled with the fact that you were gonna try again. But oftentimes that's not the case. But anyways, the reason why I like Bell Cornell is because he's genuinely a character, and he genuinely seems like kind. And also, my favorite part about him is he's like, as much as you say that, Red, about like him having so many girls that fawn over him, he's also like he's like whatever. Like, he's kind of like, okay. And he's still focusing on, he's not like, oh my god, I'm being hit on, better, I'm gonna focus on this now. He's like, that's sweet. And just moves away. And I'm like, that's fucking awesome. That's like a character that genuinely has his own interests, has his own values, and that's really fun to me. So yeah, as much as I understand that could be a perception, but yeah, I guess Kirito to me seemed more numb. Like, I think like maybe you're right in the sense that Kirito from Sword Art Online is like had things and choices that he made. Like, I understand that, of like, he made a choice that had the world have an effect on him, but yet him sticking his neck out enough made people like him. But for me, I think Dimache is a different beast, where Bell is like because I feel like Kirito is, and then later in the seasons, I think he becomes really like, you can understand the layers of this character and the things he's been through, but at least at the beginning, to me, he feels like I don't really know him, I guess. That was my feeling when I watched season 1, at least. And then as it progresses, I haven't finished the show, but as it progresses, I think it gets significantly better because you see him interact with so many people. Whereas I feel like Bell, I know immediately, but also, he's also not like Kirito. He's not like a badass. He's like a failure, essentially. And he kind of sucks like hard, but then he ends up having like one objective, and he starts working and grinding for that objective, and he is given like kind of like a leg up on success if he's able to maintain his focus, which is fun because that's to me like the epitome of like, oh shit, all these bitches trying to distract Bell, and he's just like, I got one on my mind. And that's also frustrating because Hestia is easily best girl, not even close. It's not even close. Anyways, moving on. One thing it says also, I got you. I'll put therapy in the share GRINN tab. What do you mean? What? Oh sorry. Oh no, sorry. You put the rap. Sorry, I read therapy. My brain. You put the rap in the share GRINN tab. Awesome. What certain things come with the fedora GRINN? I mean, it's literally the fedora meme, like the nice guy meme. It's like a man who is thicker, we'll say, and has a lot, maybe acne, and I have acne all over my back, so like I'm not coming for anybody. And it maybe perceives himself to be a gentleman, but a true gentleman does things for himself, not for others necessarily. So what I mean by that, don't get me twisted, a person doesn't do something nice or like hold the door open for someone and expect someone to give them something back. That's like a fucking weird manipulative businessman type thing. A gentleman is like, I'm gonna be nice because that's who I choose to be. I'm gonna be there for people. I'm gonna be kind. I'm gonna have these values, these things I do for people that are for me, as much as they are for others. And yeah, that to me is where like the meme kind of actually makes some sense, where it's like, no, it's not desirable traits, you know? Now granted, again, if you're healthy, if you're taking care of yourself, you wash your face, you have a decent skin complexion, or maybe you are on whatever you deal with. Some people actually like me, I'm like fucking 25, and my back still sometimes looks like a war zone. You know, I'm like, God damn it, what the fuck? I'm cleaning, I'm washing my skin, all that, still brutal. Just genetic bullshittery, but yeah. Lone Singing says, also, I finished my latest drawing GRINN, and I've uploaded it to the art tab. Can't wait to see it, Lone Singing. Can't wait to see it. I was working on facial expressions. Ooh, because I only expression I have drawn is either a smile or a straight face. Interesting. Is it like, are you doing complex design, or are you doing like the anime kind of thing, where it's mostly eyes, mouth, and maybe a slight drawing of a nose? Or are you doing like like actual, the planes of a human's face and how the shadowing takes place? I guess it all kind of adds up still. Although granted, I don't think I've seen many anime do the like crazy, how do I put it, the crazy shadowing effect on faces and structure, because I think it's supposed to kind of not be too detailed, because then it can kind of get messy with the detail, you know? You know? Lone Syndicate says, Wookie says, Kirito was the original beta tester / cheer. Yeah. No, that to me was, I don't know. To be honest, I think, how do I put this? Kirito, Sword Art guy. I watched season 1, and I got to the point where they had like a baby with a code, essentially, like code, but it was a child. Anyway, I got to that point, and to me the show was slow enough to where I opted out. But I could see if in the time when we didn't have shows like Overlord, Shield Hero, and all these shows that are like they learned from Shield Hero basically, and they like kept like a pace. Not to say that Shield Hero is bad, just to say that these shows I think were like, oh, this show kind of meanders a little bit for seemingly a lot of people, and yeah. But granted, I do think every season of Soul Eater, or sorry, not Soul Eater, every series of Sword Art, to me, I perceive it as getting better, even just looking at it through Amvaland. Also, I think the show does build on top of itself really well, to where I think it's like last season, I could totally see how so many people are invested for having watched season 1, liked it, and then each season gets better, and then the last season, I think I've heard nothing but good things about, like, it ends in such a crescendo, basically, you know. So yeah. But I will say, to me, I never really yeah. And again, I think I am also fucked up because I did watch Overlord, Shield Hero, which are these characters that, like, do some crazy shit, you know, make some crazy choices, fuck up, get destroyed in this kind of way and that kind of way, and then get stronger. And yeah. Red says, you missed the second half of my last paragraph about Kirito. Oh, okay, where is it? I like Kirito. What was it? One thing I kind of don't like about it. I like that Kirito was a loner and people dislike him early for being a beater, and then earning respect. And then you said, I watched episode 7. No, I'm not. I did read that, Red. So I yeah. Yeah, no, I read all that. Is there something I missed from Red? You missed my second, but no, I read it. No, I thought I maybe tuned out Red, but I thought I'm almost certain I read the you like Kirito because he's a loner and people dislike him early on for being a beta tester. Yeah, and I don't see anything else. Maybe it just didn't go through, but I didn't see any follow up. And then you said no. But I suspect she'll join the Hest. Yeah, no, I read all that. Oh my. Oh no. Oh no. my mouse finally died. It's been like a month into 6 months. Where's the plug for it? Shit. It's I think it may be the same as this. Okay, it is. All right, boys. I cannot scroll, so we're reading the bottom of the chat. We're reading the bottom of the chat. Rhett says, I like Bell, but his naivety is something somewhat makes me roll my eyes, but I suspect he will grow more mature as he faces more adversity. Yeah, that's true. He does. Yeah, I guess to me it makes sense. Like, I think Bell is literally, like, Kirito is like a fucking 24-year-old man. Yeah, I mean, who's like lived a life and gotten into it. So when Bell is like, yeah, my grandpa kind of was a pervert, and now I had a bunch of adversity because I was trying to basically find a familiar, basically a person that could guide me. And yeah, I'm like 14. And maybe Kirito is also, but it seemed like he got his shit together. I don't know, mate. But Bell is definitely like I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. Wookie says, me? Question? What do you mean, Wookie? Red says, I can relate to Kirito more, is all, especially really early in SAO. Okay. Also, Red says, yes, I love Hestia. She is so fun. Dude, she's so super adorable. Yeah, she is just positive. She's like that. Everyone needs a Hestia in their life kind of thing. But I will say, temper your heart, Red, because Bell's a dummy. We'll say that. But he's not also stupid. Like, this is something I appreciate about the show as well, is that Bell never says, like, he never, like, plays dumb, you know? Like, there's a whole ass episode a little bit later down the line where he basically has to, like, he talks about shit. It's not just like the harem thing where he's just like, I'm so dense that I pick up on nothing. It's literally Bell being like, I don't want to know. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I don't want to spoil it, but it's done in a better way than that. And it didn't make you feel mad at the end of it, but yeah. Lone Singlet says, anime related fate. Gotcha, nice. That seems like a good place to start for sure, yeah. Wookie says, I watched SAO my senior year in high school and started having an attraction for redheads. Ended up getting a girl that was like a princess on Shield Hero. Oh no. Like looking or like actually Wookie? Because if you had her, What? I'm so sorry. Do you mean like you found a girl that looked like her, or a person who was redhead and also horrible? Like the definition of toxic. Ugh. I apologize, Wookie, for the world being cruel to you. That's fucked up. No one deserved that shit. Even marginally. Red says, really? Wow. For me, the best moment of SAO was season 1. Was the time Kirito asked to spent time together. Yeah, no, for me, I think it was also, the fucked up thing about it was, like at the time, like I think I'm at a point right now where like I'm enjoying actually slower shows. Like I just watched Banished from the Shield Heroes Party, which is excessively slow, which I enjoyed actually. I think it's also, I feel like contrast makes such a huge point, for me at least, when I see a story. So when something is fast, which I think there's certain parts about SAO there are, and then they go fast and slow and fast, and they keep pivoting back and forth. I feel like it makes the slow feel slower and it makes the fast feel faster. I'd rather it be like a little bit, like if it's a slow show, then stay slow and then ratchet it up towards the end. Whereas I feel like a lot of shows try to do that. And also, I don't even like when it does that, honestly. I'd rather it just stay kind of slow. You can have like the last 2 episodes to do something crazy, but I do find when shows like have a beautiful, like peaceful thing and they just ratchet up the speed out of nowhere, you're like, oh, okay, this feels like we're missing stuff. It also feels messy, you know? I'm not saying about Shield Hero, or sorry, SAO or something, but yes. Red says, yeah, you read it. You followed up. No, oh, I see. Gotcha. Okay, I thought I maybe missed something. I was like, oh no. Red says, lol. Yeah, Belle is blind. For nothing, for not noticing Hestia. Is so damn well, no, that's the thing. Like Hestia is obvious about it. It's not and I think it's, again, to me, is one of the things I like about Belle is that it's not like he doesn't know. It's just that he's kind of just doesn't know what to do with it. He's kind of like, and there's a lot of cool things that they talk about. Like one of the things is that for those guys who aren't watching the Dimache, what do you call Hestia is his goddess, basically. It's you basically in this world, in order to unlock and in order to progress in your leveling up thing, you need to join a familiar to have a god, Hermes, Thor, or not Thor, but anyways, these other like things, these like gods, and basically they can level you up. So if you have to be a part of a familiar in order for them to do that. So then you go into the dungeons, you level up, and they level you up. You level up by adventuring. That's basically the subheader. But yeah. But the reason, but yeah, what was I saying? Something about like the fact that Hestia is a god basically, so they don't age, and Belle knows that. So Belle's kind of struck with this kind of feeling of like, well, what the fuck? I don't want to lose you essentially. And I'm like, I kind of empathize. I understand that like feeling of, let's be careful. Also hydrate. I got you. Thank you. Also. Wookie says personality. Ooh, pain, Wookie. I'm sorry that the world did that to you. Hopefully it swings back around, because you deserve better than that. That's what I thought. Oh, I see. Gonna go to a church. You guys have a good night. Thank you so much, bye, Wookie. Hopefully I can see you again. Nothing but lovely. Lindsay says, wait, was she looks or personality? Why, yeah, we always got same response. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. Everyone wants a Hestia, frankly. Sportive, basically. To be honest, she's great. She's like awesome. Wookie says, Red says, the show is already hitting me in the feels though. The moment Lily was getting bullied and beaten so badly by those Soma members really pissed me off. And just made me want to Red quickly. Consume. I feel like there's moments where you'll really like Belle, and yeah, yeah, I feel like, yeah. One thing it says, I also watched a tutorial on how to draw shirt material, folding. Okay, tight and loose, weird. Oh yeah, makes sense. I guess you have like weird shadowing and whatnot. Okay. That's a layer of depth. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. It's like checking things off the list. Define what things you want to apply to your art, and then go about defining them. Interesting. Yeah, I guess it's such one of the things that's so funny is that like that's the beauty and horrifyingness of an art, is that you're basically like waiting. Not waiting, sorry. Like when you look at it, someone who doesn't know that art form, whether it's like performing comedy or whatever, you just get to see the end result and kind of like reverence of what is cool about it, but you don't actually get to know the excruciating detail of what is actually like amazing. Usually all you know is that that's good and that seems better than that, so that must be really good. And that's it. But you don't know the layers of like, oh, drawing, I'm gonna dedicate some time to drawing like the folding nature of a shirt, like these wrinkles essentially. Woof. Fucking woof. Makes you appreciate those things, though. Yes. Also, what do you call it? I just seen a video game thing that was interesting. Is there like an anime game coming out right now? I just seen on Game Ranks. What is it called? The not Final Fantasy. It's like some sort of anime game. It looked neat. I don't know if it's worth it. Like, I don't know if it's cool enough to be like, holy shit, or if it's just kind of like, something. I don't know. I wanted to ask if anyone knows about it. It's like, I can't remember what it was called, but yeah, I don't know if it was like an MMO. It looked like it was kind of like the good parts about a JRPG. Granted, I don't know if it's just like a linear story. Is it an RPG? What are we doing? What are we dealing with? Oh my god. Whew. I wonder if Fluff's game has come out yet, DNF Duel, or if that's later. I don't know, but I think he might be gone for a couple streams, because he's gonna be balls deep, I imagine. He's been talking about those games for a while. I can't wait to hear about it. I'm late, says Fluff. Fluff, you were really early, and fashionably late, we'll say. DNF Duel comes out Tuesday. Ooh, are you sitting in anticipation? I keep seeing them trickle out like little trailers of it, and I'm like, ooh, this game looks clean. Do you think it's like, it seems more like playful and fun than something like a Mortal Kombat, or is it worse? Like Mortal Kombat to me seems very like, there's clunk, but that clunk also makes it so that you have to like work around that clunk of like dodge, up, down, over, pop, up, like these weird like things. I was managing stuff in Wonderlands and lost track of time. Ooh, you still grinding? Man, I still haven't done the last couple chaos levels. I could have this morning. I chose to watch the fucking Umbrella Academy, which is good. Oh, by the way, dude, there's such a wholesome moment in the Umbrella Academy where basically the short of it is like the season 2 it talked about like racist issues essentially within experiencing these horrible things that exist in the past. This season deals with basically, I don't want to spoil it, but there's a character called Victor that and it's real sweet. It's real sweet. So many people just accept the person, and it's quite cute and quite wholesome. And the person who, at first, it felt a little Netflixy forced, but then towards the end, when like she meets big buff guy and shit, and the actor really sells that she does seem like just glowing with joy. It was sweet. It was like one of the sweetest things out there. So great, good job, Bob. Nailed that part. Fluff says, I was it's a simpler, more accessible. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what I thought. It seemed like it was more like geared to like have a fun experience rather than like the complexity of Clunk, I guess. It does have some deep mechanics, and I love the style and badasses. Just about every character looks and has to play. Yeah. I was about to say the characters look awesome. There's so many times where I feel like so many people like it's to me it's like, god damn it, like there's so many good design characters in these fighting games to where I'm like, yeah, like I don't know, to me I remember thinking that same thing when I was watching what is it called, Mortal Kombat. Like there's like a story mode to Mortal Kombat, and I remember like watching that and being like, these are like so many characters that look so good, but you kind of like the story just delivers them essentially. Like you're like, oh, this person just just like a person I think has existed in the games for so long, and they're kind of just using her as a side character. And I'm like, but she looks so fucking cool and weird, But yeah, also those games go on for like ages, so I think there is some sort of weird previous story that they kind of are like, this is the character that you know, right? And I'm like, no, because these fucking games look like they're from 8-bit nonsense, you know. What's good, Red Dragon? Look like Dragon says, hey, big fan. You shouldn't be a fan. Don't say fan. But thank you so much for stopping by. How are you this fine day, Dragon? I had to, Fluff says, I had to catch up on mirrors, and now I've been spinning the wheel for gear. Got my first ascended. Ooh, nice. What is this pin? What's that one? What's that? Is that the bow or something? Pin cushion. Which one is that again? Oh, is that the hammer? Maybe that's it. The hammer, like you nail and then it does a bunch of damage if you have a lot of bolts. Maybe. It says, yeah, I had some experience with drawing shirt folds, mainly on the schoolgirl look in the game. Out good and funny parts about the tutorial is that the guy was like, the top of this brush should be like shift, that you can place a cup on flat, and that's how the girl, I see. So a person having fun with the like, it's a certain person looking for drawing kind of folds in clothing, you know. That's fun. Oh sweet, primordial bullet butterboom. Ooh, that's not bad. Wait, what's butterboom? Oh yeah, butterboom's fun, man. That's awesome. Holy shit, look at you. You've already grinded all the chaos levels though, man? Golly. Well, I think it says, the office lady shirt is more of a tight shirt look, and you should make sure that sucks the fold into the shirt material should like highlight the anime girl's curvy face. Gotcha, that makes sense. So yeah, it's talking about like, hey, no, this is what it actually is the application. I know what you guys are coming to understand this about. Boom, boom, boom. Fluff says NRS games are a big expectation regarding story qualities. Most fighting games don't have the high budget on focusing on that. That makes sense, I guess. Yeah, just can't do too much story stuff. Dragon says, I love you. Thank you so much. I'm happy you enjoy the video content, Dragon, so much. Fluff says the hammer and the synergy with the crossbow bolts, but it's not something I'd be using on my current build. That's actually, I didn't even think about that. You know, I was thinking about that the other day, Fluff, about like spell damage, a spell shot mixed with Stabo. No, a spell shot mixed with Spore Warden. And if you were to go down to the spell shots capstone and you were to get guns with wings, pistol, and then you were to get the two spells that basically use ambihexers. You get the two spells that basically summon forth air, what do you call it? Summons bows, sorry. And then you have the necklace that makes like ricochets take place. And then you could have that melee weapon. Sorry, that was like, we were talking about that build yesterday, what that could be, but just having that melee weapon actually might, just because there's such a high level of bolts that when you hit someone they just pop. You know, granted, I don't know if it's enough. I think you still need to invest somewhat in melee in order for have those things sync up, but yeah. Dragon says, I'm a gamer, I played Let It Die, and the new game, Deathverse, Let It Die. Oh yeah? Yeah, man. Well, how do you feel about Deathverse? Are you excited, or do you feel like I guess we always do have both. We do have Let It Die and Deathverse. So I guess you can always get PvE and then PvP. But I hope there is some sort of, like, you know how PvP existed in Let It Die, like the base game? I hope there's something like that for Deathverse. So there's like a little bit of PvE, just something to do so you're not just constantly grinding the PvE. But granted, I guess there is at the dominated market by Let It Die, the base game, like you can have so much PvE. That game is only really PvE with like ways for other people to fuck with you, but that's not exactly PvP. Oh, it's Stefan popping in. Stefan's talking to Fluff, asking if that any good piece of ascending gear. I still have yet to grind. I don't think I've gotten a single ascending gear to drop, and we've spent 3,000 of our souls on the thing, so pain. But yeah, maybe one of those was ascended. I just didn't notice. You think they would, like, because ascended is the cap? You think they would have like a tinge to ascended? Like maybe it's more dark purple than it is. Maybe not dark purple. Maybe like light blue, like pearlescent, just to signify like this is actually super huge for you, not just like, hey, it's another legendary that you gotta shift to. Do. Also, Stefan says, oh, no, that's Stefan. Stephanie. Fucking goddamn it. Or Steph. Sorry. Be patient with me. Lone Singer says, hello, Steph. How are you? Fluff says, there's bound to be a solid crossbow bolt build with all of the spells, weapons, and melee that exists now. Yeah, well, my thing is that, like, to me, that was already a good enough way of playing, but I don't know. Like, has anyone been dabbling at Ascended rank 50, and how bad is it? Is it like enemies are super? Because that's the thing that always made me, like, threw me for a loop, you know? Is yeah, it's just the weirdness with the melee, or with the scaling of everything. So, like, the game is becoming harder. There's more enemies. There's a new type of loot that makes your other loot kind of reductive, I think. But is it like a super gain? Is Ascended like so cripplingly higher than level 50 enemies that it makes it so worth it? Or is it literally just like, no, now you'll be doing what you normally were just doing when you were in Primordial in a level 35 world? And I'm just like, what? Why am I working to work? It just seems like awful. Anyways. But it's not good for possible to be a cloud. Yeah, you know. Also, Fluff, how is the Cloudbringer feel after the last buffs? Also, my God, that's brutal. Fluff says 19% chance to get a chaotic, 14% chance to get a volatile, 14% chance to get at least a primordial now, but a 0.99% chance to get ascended. Also, there's that. So you're not only, the end game means you're working extra hard for the thing that you already attained. Okay. Steph says, I've just been playing Borderlands 3. Still on that grind. Stephanie's like, no. No. Dragon says, the death verse is alright though. I'm still going through tutorials. Yeah. Does anyone know when Death Verse is coming out? I know I should probably know that, but I don't think we've heard anything. But maybe I missed something. Lone Ticket says, the guy also did take off the shirt tag. Look neat, that makes sure shirt should be hang over the breast. Gotcha. I'm not sure if yeah. Okay, so jeez. I don't know how to respond. Yes. Yes. Red says, I played Wonderlands, I still don't like the small DLC nonsense. Yeah, I don't think I've met one person who's like, yes. Granted, again, I should have mentioned this actually. I fucked up by not doing that. I should have mentioned in the DLC stuff that I'm like, hey, they're kind of doing it. They're kind of like trickling out legendaries, but my thing is that they're still super undercooked. We talked about this yesterday, but when it comes to Wonderland, but to me, I don't think this is the best cause or like situation. Like, I do, like, to me, in all of the Borderlands games, there's always been like a super imbalance, and Wonderlands is no exception. There's super imbalance. You know, Spellshot, I like the way he feels. I feel like he should be the standard, but regardless, the other characters still feel not bad, not completely bad, but like melee is not scaling nearly enough that in the way that it should. And yet melee, you have to get point blank to profit. There's also very limited resources to do ranged melee. There's like two options: throw a hammer, throw a twisty blade, and all those are scaled appropriately to where they don't ever get to be like excessively scaling. And if it is, it's because you have to heavily build towards them, like the best melee ring you've ever seen, etc. So that gets, to me at least, really weird and messy. But my point is that Borderlands used to basically be way more of a free-for-all, at least in my experience. Like, so many things were usable. Like, I'd rather, like, to me, if Gearbox is looking at like the expansions and the production of Wonderlands, I think things should be stronger and be like overpowered than weaker, and nobody use them, because then it just feels meaningless, you know? Like, at least if something's strong, then you're like, okay, things can keep getting strong. Like, I think that this is something that people used to always talk about in the previous games, and I think I might have actually echoed it. But the idea of, like, you release something, and they always release stuff that's maybe way too hot, or like feeds into something 6 times. But like, think about the Face Puncher, or the new thing called the Stab-O-Matic. The thing that was crazy about the face puncher is there was like an artifact that basically made it so that whenever you did melee damage, there was a chance for you to imbue a pike into an enemy that would later explode in a random element. Now, the face puncher came along and it counted as melee damage, and people were smart enough to deduce, oh, can this like literally transport a bunch of spikes into an enemy if I shoot them? And it also fires 14 pellets, so there's a high probability that at least one of those pellets, or at least maybe even two of those pellets, will detonate and put an element on an enemy. And then they're like, holy shit, now I can make a melee build and an elemental build and profit like mad. What an awesome thing. The face punch or the Stab-O-Matic, unless I'm missing something, does not do that. There's a point in the Stab-O-Mancer's skill tree, which makes sense. You actually have to invest. You can't just get an artifact and be good. You have to invest deep into a skill tree in order to get benefit from this, and also it's a lower percent chance. But yeah, that at least as far as I'm concerned, the face puncher doesn't apply random elements to an enemy. Like to me, like they've basically found out the ways in which something can be overpowered, and they've stopped it in its tracks. And I feel like they're just. It feels like it's a less fun world to exist in when every possible, like, oh, maybe this works in tandem and maybe that stacks on top of each other is patched. Or like before it's even out. And the things that aren't are like weird skills that feed, like they're triple dipping into their access point, which makes them like blitzkrieg an enemy. Rather than the gear cleverly feeding into each other, you know? But Lizzie says, I might hop on Wonderlands, but I really don't want to grind level 50 Chaos Chambers. I didn't even make it to level 35. Yeah. I mean, the unfortunate bit of that, Lone Sync, is that you are on PS4. You need to jump over to console, or you need to jump over to PC land. But yes. Good news, Lone Sync, I could always make a save file, get ascended gear, drop it for you, and then you'll literally just walk through every Chaos Chamber, and it's still a grind. Dragon says, it's been a beta on Deathverse for a while. It's been a beta on Deathverse for a while. You've been on a beta tester for Deathverse for a while? Is that what you're saying? Cloudbringer feels great lately. The points and skills that were buffed in the last patch, and I'll definitely cross how much stronger they will be if I change to Berserker and Blight Caller when that comes out. Oh, nice, yeah. I'm hopeful for Blight Caller. I'm hoping that it's... to me, though, I don't know if it fixes the problems that it have with... that exists, I think, with certain classes and characters, you know? Most of the time, just cheese how lunge attacks work to deal with flying enemies, because once you start to lunge, it will hit the target even they teleport or flying enemy. Even when you're fighting like the Tiny Tina, the Titan... like the not Titan, sorry, the raid boss. Even when you're fighting her, and like the weird bat-like raid boss, and I think there's also what is it called? The Banshee, the one that, like, I think if you get close to her, when she starts pulsating, she'll just drop you basically if you're a melee. Maybe have more healing. Yeah. Dragon says 2 generic DLC contents that don't ask for and nobody asked for, and it's not full Borderlands ordeal game, but it's related. So the Gearbox doing this to I understand what you're saying, Dragon. Yeah, why is Gearbox doing this to us, kind of thing? No one asked for this kind of DLC. Yeah. I mean, with that being said, though, it did kind of make sense when it was coming out. Like this idea of like, well, what if we built an end game into Tiny Tina's Wonderland, the Chaos Chamber? I think largely people love that. I think it's been the handling of progression that is probably the biggest cause of that, and I think it's chaos level. I think I was shocked, and I still am shocked, that they created something, in my opinion, way worse than Mayhem. I think it's so much worse than Mayhem. I like enchantments. I like how they separated Mayhem and enchantments, and they're just like, you can just have it, basically. I dislike heavily that you look at 1,000 legendaries and they're just like, that one's chaotic, it's worthless. That one's primordial. Oh my god, it's good. It's on the worst roll of that weapon possible. Great. And that's the thing that's supposed to keep you like stimulated, is like a passive stat that buffs all attributes like damage and fire rate. Like what? Like what? I rather than like, I remember we used to farm for what is it called? what it's like a bullet in Borderlands 1. There was like a bullet hose. Basically, it's kind of like what exists in Wonderland. It's like the Doom weapon in this game. That's called Rip and Tear. So it just shoots out a bunch of bullets. Anarchy. That's what it is. We used to farm for like the Anarchy back to back to back and got like a fucking banger of one. It's like we are a joke to you, to the devs of Gearbox. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I won't say that too far, Dragon. I wouldn't go that far because I do think they are adjusting, but I think it's just it's such a short amount of time for them adjusting. I think after this season is done, I think whatever comes next will give the community, whether it's probably be careful with your expectations for Gearbox in any way, which some people are already there. But yeah, to me, granted, they have done that thing with the Chaos Chambers where they trickle out legendaries. Like that has been something that they've added. Now every week, every Thursday, at least there's something to look forward to. Do you have a red nose? Me? I don't think so. What happened? Yeah, it's not all out yet. Oh, I see. My chat's moving away from me. I don't have my mouse to scroll. What's good, Lixo? Lixo says, I just wanted to come and say hi. That's all. What's good, Lixo? We miss you, buddy. How are you? Hopefully having a lovely day. Undivided attention. Lixo, you have it. What's happening, my friend? How has your life been treating you? We've missed you. Dragon says, we need to do a vote or something for future content. Yeah, man, that'd be a good idea, I think. But granted, Dragon, see, to me, the thing I think is also rough. How do I put this delicately? I think that Gearbox is actually listening to content creators, and I think content creators also didn't consider the complexity of what they were asking necessarily. I don't mean to mean that in a negative way, but I do know that I've heard some certain things about people saying like this is imbalanced, that's overpowered. And I notice that there's a lot of stuff in Wonderlands outside of one class, Spellshot, that all of it seems like it's very tempered. And given like we're constantly fighting higher and higher tier enemies, like chaos levels and such. So to me, as much as I would love to vote, it worries me that a content creator that is dominant in the space would not just say, this is what we need, when I don't think that's the whole story. It's almost like when I hear... there was a Genshin YouTuber who I still enjoy watching, but the person that constantly talks about needing difficult endgame content, and certainly I understand that in that game that could be used, but I don't think that is actually what people want. Like people think they want difficulty, and I don't think largely they want it. They want something to do and a reason to do it. I don't think like you can synthetically make a game harder. It's like when someone says like the game is easy, but they play on literal easy mode. It's like you can synthetically make things harder if you want. Why does everyone have to have a slower time doing something just for you to pay off? Now in FromSoft games it makes sense because it's like baked in to the journey of like this live, die, repeat. Suffering is your price. You get good, you get better, you feel more fulfilled. But it doesn't always make sense in that way. It's also, games are not built that way. Like largely how people synthetically increase difficulty just by giving enemies more health. So yeah. Steph says, Wonderland's enchantments are definitely better than one. Oh, 100% agree that they're better than Annoyance. Absolutely. Yeah. Again, I think there were some content creators that nailed, like, because I think they did like Gearbox has always been pretty good about like keeping the community for a while there in Borderlands 3. People who were sticking through the game way after it like launched on like podcast things, rotations. But again, I think Wonderlands missed the reasons to do things. Like I genuinely think, god damn it, this game is bones. This like the parkour system, the magic, the chaos chambers. I honestly don't think that's necessarily the problem. I think it's just that there's no reason to do anything, and the reasons that we do have are super not stimulating. Like again, like I point out, you have like a sea of legendaries at the end of a chaos chamber, and it's not very exciting to see any of them because it's dictated by chaos, volatile, primordial, and ascended, and that determines your entire thing. So yes. So I don't think we'll have anything major to impactful in Wonderlands until the sequel. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be brutal to me. We have to wait until there was a sequel to get like genuine changes. I mean, I guess, but oof. I mean, Lone Syndicate made a joke a while ago that was basically like, Like, what if we have to wait until the next update? Like, what if we have to wait until like the year 3 of Tiny Tina's Wonderland for them to finally balance everything normally and then buff everything appropriately, to just be able to experience that? And you're like, Steph says Red Dragon asked if I were a joke, so I asked about red noses. Oh, I see. Above says one of the major reasons I'm so anxious. Oh no! The killing words. I'm trying not to leave anyone's count behind. Stephanie says yes, I understand. I was making a joke. Okay, gotcha. Okie dokie. Oh, no problem. Yeah. Fluff says the core game is great, but no one wants to grind through a campaign more than once. All of the writing and humor went out of the window once you get to endgame and DLC. Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, again, man, like, again, so the only reason, like, to me, this is where I think content creators are like, there's communicating stuff like that exactly, where it's like, oh, maybe it's the fact that we didn't get to experience the story, or that could have been like, we could have had like new Vault Hunter mode, but like, why not play into the fact that we are literally being coached through this storyline by a madman named Tiny Tina? Why couldn't you play through like new Vault Hunter mode? Makes sense in this world. Because Tina's like, fuck it, run it back, and new options are for like Tina shitting on you while you're doing this or that, or based on the difficulty you choose, she's causing more chaos. Like, that could have been amplified. I get that's a pretty good idea, I think. But I think about what the Borderlands community has been for a long time, which is in Borderlands 2, we would literally just kill bosses for like 5 hours straight, almost constantly, like just boom, 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 which isn't necessarily the most like complex or story narrative thing. It's just kind of there, but they really nailed the reason why people did that wasn't just because they were like, fuck it. It was because there was a huge mental incentive and satisfaction when you finally got something to drop, because most legendaries, at least in Borderlands 2, were decent, and some were amazing, like the Unkempt Herald, and yeah. But so for me, when I say in Borderlands 2, or is in Wonderland, sorry, I feel like content creators could say, hold that story thing, but I also wonder if, again, this is the same community that used to just be satisfied with shooting bosses. And Borderlands 2 is still the most played game, I think, out of a lot of the series, which tells you something. Ideally, their system of legendaries and such, and also nostalgia, sure, but yeah. But I think that also, like, with the baseline of being, the community is actually entirely pretty okay with doing the same monotonous thing over again. If there is an incentive, then I think the problem in Wonderlands is the incentive structure. Also the feeling of progression. Like, it's like the reason why people went to new Vault Hunter mode a second time was because they wanted to see what the rest of their skill tree looked like. There was a kind of carrot on the stick of investment to push through. And there were like tiers of investment. They're like, get to the end of Vault Hunter mode, then start grinding, then piece together builds, then maybe try out some of the other characters or download some other people's builds. Yeah, maybe do some of the side quests that you missed, get this blue weapon that had some more charisma than you thought, but most of the blue weapons aren't that interesting. There's no reason to play the other characters really, because you can kind of dip into just about all of them, which, yeah, to me those are the weird, like, cliff things that are weird. And again, I've already talked to you guys about it. I mean, maybe I'm alone on it, but I want something that would validate me grinding Chaos Chambers. So again, I'm so frustrated with Borderlands and Wonderlands that money has always become excessively reductive at the end of your experience, like super pointless. Every game has this. Like, why have an economy if money is meaningless? It's either like the most rare thing on the planet, and you can buy like 2 things that are going to get like reductive immediately, or you can grind your ass off and get like a lot of it, and then eventually have nothing to spend it on, like, again, that's why to me, my whole thing is I would love like a base or a house or a pub to like just grind up and invest in. But then again, you need to have incentive, because customization is not a good enough thing to keep you investing. It's something, but it's not enough. I think you need to add like the ability to regenerate ammo for 4 hours when you drink this potion at the pub that you leveled up to tier 6 or something, whatever it could be. Steph says, great DLC right there. Red says, I enjoy Claptastrophe. Yeah, the pre-sequel DLC was great. Yeah, man, there's a lot of great DLCs. Like, yeah, my favorite was, well, actually, the one that really comes to mind, I actually really liked in Borderlands 3 the Western I don't know if it's just like the Rocky Mountains and shit that like I just love that environment. But yeah, the Claptastrophe with Handsome Jack going inside Clappy's brain. That's pretty cool. I also, of course, Tiny Tina's Dragon's Keep is pretty good, or Dragon's Keep was pretty good. Yeah, that's the thing. They've always been pretty good about DLCs. I find they're getting worse at them, especially Borderlands 3. Like, especially if you compare Tiny Tina's Wonderland or Dragon's Keep to the DLC we got in Borderlands 3. But that was something that was a criticism that people had. Yeah, now that I think about it, it's dissolved. Like, Borderlands 2's DLC to pre-sequel's DLC to Borderlands 3's DLC. Did I say that already? I meant Borderlands 2 DLC. Borderlands 3 DLC. And then Wonderlands, it seems like they're getting significantly less and less and less. And that's kind of the feeling of the game space right now. It's like, how can we offer less and get more? Which is not a good thing. Yeah, the whole let's go again part of the ending doesn't actually mean anything because we don't get a new game plus. Yeah. That's so true. Fellow says, not even like the pre-sequel change-up who speaks as Athena recounting the events once more, telling the other here. Yeah, no, that's a good point too. I forgot about that, yeah. Fluff says, if I were to start a new character, it treats it like we're just restarting entirely. Now that we created a new character or running through it with any variation of dialogue or events. Yeah. Again, to me, it's like, I think a lot of ideas that existed within like Tiny Tina's, I think, it was brilliant, you know, like the original DLC. Where like, again, only a few times within the story do like the world shift, you know? And like, it would have been cool, like we're playing a D&D game. We have no choice at all. It would have been really cool for Tiny Tina to be like, hey, do you want to go here or go here? And there's like clearly a hard option. There's clearly an easy option. Maybe you roll the dice so you get to go down a new experience every single time, you know? And maybe when you do new Vault Hunter Plus, you like scratch off one of the outcomes. So you get the next two, basically. There's 3 in total. You get to choose from the other 2 based on the roll that you get. They could have had fun with that. You get a great roll, you basically get a ton of legendaries and do nothing. You get a bad roll, you get a fuck ton of enemies and you're gonna die. You know, like that. They could have had fun with that, but it's really the D&D thing is just aesthetic based. You know. Fluff is also, and I also feel like the level cap would have been great. Would have been great. Now that we're so deep into Chaos Rank that I know that it's never going to happen. I wanted a DLC to at least provide skill points for full completion or just a further progression for builds. Yeah, that's a great example too, Fluff. Yeah, to me, I think maybe we'll get. Yeah, I don't know, man. I genuinely, honestly, a part of me feels a little bad because I'm wondering. It does seem like Gearbox was not expecting entirely for Wonderlands to be as successful as what it was. And I think a lot of people are bitter now that like the potential that it had was kind of wasted because I think I could not see them. The people who made that same DLC made the what do you call it? The Headhunter packs. What's it called? God damn it! The Mirror Mysteries. They made that. Like I feel like the same people that made one level could have made all of the Mirror Mysteries in less, like whatever amount of time was significantly less than making a whole last campaign. And yeah, so to me, I'm like, I feel like it was one of those instances where they're like, hey, make an endgame batch of content for us so that we can kind of be on this update cycle. And then there's like a skeleton team right now balancing the game's stuff, and we might have a season 2. Or maybe like they'll let it sit for a while, and then they'll be like, okay, now there's Borderlands 3, and now they have Wonderlands and Borderlands 3, basically keeping us interested. I don't know. I don't like to bet on a series that to me has been getting somewhat. Well, it's not fair to say it's getting worse. It's just to say that like I wish it was getting better. I feel like we've lost things and we've gained things. Like we've lost. The fun balancing of it, the uniqueness of legendaries and stuff like that. But we've gained a cool engine. Like the game looks beautiful, it runs amazing. The parkour, the like spells and shit, like that's all positive. But I feel like we're also like we're just trading things at this point. And I've always hated that feeling of when there's a sequel, I would have hoped that they add instead of like, oh, we've taken this away and then we've done this. Now, granted, I understand it's development, so they have to reduce something and gain something else. You can't just keep building on top of it because you'll be developing for like 8 years if it took 4 years the original time, you know. So, although you think that they also have a skeleton of what works at that point, but yes. Steph says, seems like it's just spinning the wheel. Yeah. It dropped a ball. Much reason to play with DLC once you run them again. Yeah. Again, I would have loved if they did a redux of like all of the things. Also, man, yeah, I don't know. Has anyone, after finishing one of the DLC Mirror Mysteries, when you beat the boss, how consistent do you get a legendary at the end of beating that boss? Because I feel like it's fucking nothing. And it takes a good bit to push through that encounter. Like, enough to where it's like, yeah, a pain in your ass. Lone Ziggins says, Grin, what is the name of a drink you keep getting from Wendy's? It looks good. Oh, fuck, man, I don't know what it's called. It's basically... I know what it is. It's basically a flurry, I think, coupled with a cappuccino. So it's coffee and like a flurry mixed into a drink. But yes. Also, yes, that's what it is. It's very good. I would highly recommend. It's like $3, so it's not like nothing, but still. Steph says, Fluff says, looks like an iced coffee. You know, it's not though. Fluff, fucking words. It's a flurry, like a ice cream drink mixed with a cappuccino, which is coffee. So the coffee and a flurry mixed together in like a nice, delicious milkshake, creamy coffee kind of type thing. Steph says, at least in Borderlands 3, you grind certain bosses for certain gear. Bunnies and wheels are nice for a bit, not so great for a while. Well, see, to me, that's like one of the best examples, Steph, because I think it's like you don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater, because to me, I think that would be something that would be really good. I think it's smart that there is a good bit of gear that is on the global loot table. So it gives a value to the bunnies, it gives a value to like fighting a boss, and you can happen to get one of the more rare items. But I think that's also how it should be. There should be certain global drop things that are super rare. But that way, because you're always getting them to drop, you're always detonating that chance. So they should be ungodly rare. But then Wonderlands has no balls, basically. It never says this one boss off in the corner has this one legendary. Also, we've scaled that legendary up accordingly because it's a pain in the ass to get to. Now, granted, you don't want to have that too crazy. You don't want to have it like Terramorphous. Or not Terramorphous, sorry. The one that dropped the Northfleet is making you have to like summon a bunch of fucking bugs. It was terrible. That was too much. It was like the epitome of like, this is a lot for good, but like, Jesus. But even still, that to me that's something that they should do. But nothing. Everything is just like, you can get it. Don't worry. It's available for everybody. Because it's available for everyone, it makes it almost harder to get, but also more meaningless. And again, the only thing that we have to kind of stimulate that like, ooh, better grind for this is the chaos level. It's like you can get. I did one chaos chamber. I did Mirror Mysteries to a certain point, and then I just ran to the chaos chamber, ran through it, spent all of my coins on the bunny statue, and I got 3 of the new Torg pistols again. And it's just like, yeah, again, variability is what we need, as well as them to like actually be like, no, this one boss that no one's fought, go fight him. Also, stop doing invincibility phases. It just makes no sense. Like, it to me, that makes me so mad. Like, do you really think that people killed Trant because they thought, what a fun boss? No, he literally had no invincibility phase, and you could get to him really easily. Like, what the fuck? Also, he dropped everything. It's just nonsense. Like, ugh, it makes me mad. We still are fighting like in the chaos. It's less bad, but it's still present enough to where, like, if there was a boss that dropped a certain thing and had invincibility frames, you'd be sitting there like, fuck off, I hate farming for this. I'm not even sure, is it that good? Is it even worth it? You know? Flex says, I got a couple legendaries from 1 or 2 mirrors. completions? I did. How many did you do in total though? 'Cause for me, I found that I've yet to get one. Sorry, that's not true. When I did the max tier, I got like 2. But even still, it's like nowhere near the bunnies. But it still costs the same amount of time to run through a chaos chamber than it does a bunny. So it's or a mere mystery. So yeah, it makes no sense. But it's hardly worth it. Yeah. Fluff says just. Let me ask you guys this: how many people would? How to put it? I was gonna say, well, I feel like people would just opt out. If I give you 3 options. One option is to basically reduce the drop rates of legendaries, but increase the drop rates of primordial and chaos and volatile to a degree in which it would be really rare that you see a legendary, but it'd be really high chance that that legendary is like primordial at the very least, and ascend it on the best possible day. It completely nicks a chaotic and volatile at this point, especially if you're playing on max difficulty. But again, it would significantly lower the chance for you getting legendaries to drop. But when it did drop, you would be like, holy shit, there's a high probability that would be there. So you'd be excited to get a drop. Or would people just prefer no chaos level? I'm curious. Granted, there's still no variability, so you would still be stuck in that way, I guess. But yeah. What would you guys prefer? Or maybe the person's like, actually, I really like chaos level. It's super rewarding or something. I don't know. That we developed during the pandemic is not a badge of honor. It's because less and less of an. Yeah, man, I don't know. Like, to me, yeah, I agree with you, Fluff, on that. Like, I feel like that is such a. Again, like, to me, I hate that so deeply. Like, my biggest, hottest take I can possibly say about, like, this years of gaming is I genuinely think things are progressing backwards or in the wrong way. So, like, I think we're spending more and getting less. And the companies could be like, but wait, this took so much more money to produce. And I think it's because it's not easy to develop mechanics because it makes the system flimsy. It makes the system if I were gonna add this this type of thing in the game, this could corrupt this and this could conflict with this and a bunch of bugs and nightmare. So companies will say, got it, we'll just make it look prettier, and they'll hire like 60 designers or 3D modelers just to fucking make the pores on a person's skin look like fucking crazy. Meanwhile, the game is like a shell of what it used to be when it came out fucking 8 years ago. You know, I'm really hoping this doesn't happen to Fable, by the way. Because Fable is one of the best examples of a game that's has freakish depth. Like, you could have a family, like, if you wanted in Fable, and it's not even a part of the main game. You can just you can also have devil horns and shit. You can do this one random, weird, bearded door that tells you a random bit of what is it called? The harpy answer this riddle, and if you answer it correctly, you'll get a fucking god tier weapon out of nowhere, or a golden pair of boots, or some shit. It's so good in that regard, and I'm really terrified. And that's the same thing that happened to Fable 3. That's one of the biggest criticisms that people have for Fable 3 is that it just was less. It didn't have the depth and the variability in that way, And again, I would so prefer a game that looks less good, but has more things to do and more reasons to do them, and more mechanics to dig into and have fun with, Again, the best games of our time are usually Minecraft and shit like that has infinite variability because the mechanics and the structure is so good. But so many games are but what if it looks better? I'm it already looks great. I can't make it look, but what? Jesus Christ. Lone Singlet says, I'm gonna be on the lookout for the next time I order it for Wendy's. Can't wait. Though I don't like coffee like that. Oh, I think you will, though. I think you will. To me, it has this nice, what do you call it, flirty taste kind of thing. It's like ice cream, but then it has just the slightest bit of coffee taste in it. Like slightest bit. And it's less of I feel like it's almost like you barely taste the coffee aspect of it. But yeah, I would love to hear what you think about it, Lone Syndicate. It's, is there a frosty Cheeto? I don't know if it's that. I think it's called I don't know if that's what it's called. Maybe. I know that's what it is though. It's yeah. Also, there's a chocolate version of it. You can get a chocolate sundae or a chocolate version of this in a coffee espresso. Yeah. Fluff says, I just want an excuse to actually use the overworld map. Yeah. Oh, fuck. I forgot about that, Fluff. Yeah. Remember in the past when we were talking, I don't mean to be a Wonderland downer all the time, but remember in the past when we were like, dude, this game's bones are so good. Like, think of what they could do with the overworld. They could have an event that's not just like, kill an enemy and get money, but money's useless. Instead, they could do, hey, in the overworld, you go and you do a random encounter, like you just chilling in grass and you get attacked. That has a specific enemy that spawns, and in that encounter, it can drop a specific new legendary that is specific to this event that will go away. They used to have balls like that in the fucking in Borderlands 3. There'd be like plenty of gear that you would only get if you completed a quest chain, and there was only one opportunity to get it. And yeah, like just, and all that's like, now you get a chaos chamber, you get a mirror mystery, whatever, you know. I'd rather Mayhem 11, says Flo. Yeah, just the solid like base foundation. Enemies scaled up, but gears drops. But well, again, man, to me, the reason why Mayhem 11 also didn't work for me, Fluff, is because I'm tired of seeing so many legendaries that are kind of feel hollow, you know. Again, I miss the super rare, but like fucking not even close to like its archetype, you know, like it's super good comparatively to all the other things. Yeah. Fluff says, COD M Modern Warfare Remake was pretty much just that, a re-release with a prettier coat of paint. Yeah. But also to me, like, see, that to me doesn't. That works not in that instance, probably, because I kind of understand that that's nostalgia. But to me, like, if they were to remake the original Fable, then actually I don't mind that. That's like, as long as they kept all the mechanics, then it's like, hey, that's an instance where you wouldn't mind a coat of paint, because we already know there's a fuck ton of content there. Abnormal for most games like it, granted, like only rivaled by things like Fallout. Honestly, even Fallout, I wouldn't say that's the case. Fallout's usually like, there's a lot to do, but none of it really feeds into itself. For like Fable, you can literally like waifu up a random person and drag them across the plains of these instances and like bring them to a house and be like, you live here now. And they're like, okay, my love. It's like, this is weird. But it's also, this is Albion. People are fucking batshit, so yeah. Games like Vampire Survivor was a testimony, yes, to games with a super cheap, $3, but and gets updates every 2 weeks or so. Adds more content to enjoy, new characters, maps, mechanics. Exactly, yeah. That to me is a great example, yeah. And also, I don't think it's absurd for them to add legendary weapons. Granted, I'm frustrated with most of the legendaries seemingly are reserved, like very held back. Like, again, like the fact that the Stabbo gun can't, like, you have to, in order for it to do sufficient damage. And I want you guys to be careful with that a little bit. I'm all for people making builds. I'm not all for people saying, this is totally fine. like, yeah, you have to build magic to make a melee gun work. What is happening? Like, what are we doing? You know, I'm all for making it work, but fuck, if this is not like, this is weird. This does not work. Okay, I'm making it work. It does not work. If anything, Genshin managed to last longer for the honeymoon period. Yeah. It's not even a year later, and we're already frustrated and burning out Wonderland. Yeah. Well, again, I think, yeah, I don't know, because again, to me, it's one of those things where I got to keep reminding myself that like, Wonderlands is a good game. Like when I'm having fun, I'm having fun. But it's so easy to get frustrated with the choices being made, and yeah, that's why like largely I'm trying to like I always say this even in videos. I'm like, I should chill out. I don't want to be toxic, and I literally say that to me being like, it's your job to have fun with a video game. Like everything could be better. Basically, you can be frustrated. You can make I've already made my feelings known at this point. I made 3 videos really, talking about like, here's how you fix it. Here's how I would fix it. I know nothing. Just so you know, I know nothing. But here's how I would fix it. Here's why I think it makes sense how I could fix it. And I had a pretty good turnout for those videos. I hadn't had many people being like, this is fucking stupid. This makes no sense. Granted, some of them were rambling because it's hard to consolidate like everything and also be like, this is why I think it would work, because the human brain operates under this perspective, and this is what worked in the previous game, and this is why I think it worked, because of these human desires and traits and stimulus being delivered when you finally get something to drop. And I couldn't do all that, so instead I was like, Todd Howard, it works. It just came. I hope it worked. Borderlands as a franchise needs to take more lessons from other ARPGs that is so proudly based itself around. So we need gear sets, more stats, loot filters, etc. Yeah. Again, man, that's to me the thing that, like, I was so many, like, exactly what you said, Fluff. I agree with that actually a lot. But if I could clean it, like, make it clear from my perspective of what I think you just said, which made the most sense in terms of what I want. So many games, like Destiny's the best example. Destiny, to me, I was loving that there was finally a game that was utilizing the brilliance of, like, MMOs, basically. Like, this idea of, hey, it feels actually really satisfying to do something every day in a game that you like to play with really good gunplay. Like, with good gameplay and actually having fun things to do that feel like the impact, like daily mission rewards, etc. And the fact, again, Destiny, this is when Destiny 1 was in its heyday and it was actually making really smart choices. But there was literally, they started to implement it so where there were, every single time you did a daily commission, there was a very, very small chance that you could trigger what is called an exotic daily commission, essentially. So it had a value for you doing that, but that's ballsy. You could miss that. You could grind for days and days and days and not see that exotic weapon checklist, essentially. You had to, like, kill certain enemies in the Crucible with hand cannons, stuff like that. But sure as shit, when you got it, it also did perform. Now, granted, everything was kind of linear. Everything could kind of get by, but it was made it worth it. It made you invest in it. It made it actually make sense. And this is something that's existed with an MMOs largely. Like, you do a quest, you grind, you have housing. Like, there's things that keep you on board and, like, embedded. And now things feel too marketed to the where, like, again, Genshin's a great example where there's so much high FOMO, fear of missing out. There's so much weird, like, marketing manipulation, and rather than, like, value investment creation, which is how can I make people feel like they want to invest in the thing that I have and to buy what I have and to want to exist in the world that we've created, you know? But that's, to me, the thing that I feel like so many games do not look at. So many games, like, and Destiny stopped doing that. It kind of still has it a little bit as far as the exotic quest goes, but not the idea of, like, why didn't they ever introduce housing, and why did they ever not make it so that you could level things up, you know, or like you add stuff like that? Why not make it so that there was like a legendary quest that required you to do a lot, but also it was a good weapon. It was like a great foundational weapon for you existing in the game. Like, a bare minimum requirement if you wanted to do raids was at least have this weapon. It took a little bit of time, but it was worth it. Why not have a cosmetic that is purely aesthetic, but also is something that's worth you investing in it? Like, you know, this is kind of, Destiny's doing this better in some cases, where it's like, if you do a certain amount of PvP stuff, you'll get an exclusive shader for that season. But still, season stuff is on, like, a weird seasonal time period. But anyways, dogs popping off. Lone Syndicate says the other two new characters you get, one from the event and the other from the battle pass. One, her name is Rivet, and she is an bunny waifu mercenary, sorry. And the other, her name is Regina, a classy waifu with the power of ice. Yeah, sorry. Awesome. I don't know, what is that tied to? I feel like I missed a important part of your words. Like I missed a comment. But on the topic of that, that's also the other thing that I feel like so many people do not market. Like, there's something that JRPGs have actually found really cleverly. Like, imagine if they actually took this idea of, like, the game that I'm assuming what Lone Syndicate is talking about, like a gacha game where you basically get a waifu. Like, Fate Grand Order is a great example where there's, like, a dark equivalent of a character that you've been learning through the story, and maybe they release, like, a dimensional thing, or maybe they let, like, your character is special and can pull people from a different era or a different dimension that experienced the same thing but different, was corrupted, whatever, doesn't matter. Regardless, why not have that in an RPG game? Like, imagine how much you'd want to play Wonderland if there were these cute characters with weird stereotypes but were personalities, and the more you played and did their side quests, the more you gave them, more that you buy them gifts, and then that would give a purpose for money. You know, you could buy these gifts and constantly keep building these people up, progressing with down their skill tree. You'd get story every now and again. Maybe you could utilize them. They give you a certain buff. You'd activate the grenade button, and they would pop off and do their special thing and be on cooldown. Like, there's things that you could do that make you feel like you want to invest and check things off the list, and stuff that JRPGs and MMOs have done perfectly for a long time now. But games just don't implement them. I don't know why. It's not like they're not tried and tested and work, because it can make sense why they work. But yeah, like, to me, those are the things that I wish more games implemented. And I was really disheartened when I seen Destiny didn't really do that. Like, they kind of did that. Destiny's a better example of them at least being ballsy, where they were willing to put like but also, I fucking hate FOMO so much, man. Like, that was the other thing that pissed me off about Destiny, is that, like, they introduced cool weapons that I was like, okay, well, if I can't log in this week to do this heavy grind, and I'm not gonna get this cool weapon that I've been waiting for like a season and a half, you know. And it's just like, it makes you, it's funny because FOMO is real. Like, FOMO makes you feel like you want to act. It's like scarcity. It's like, oh my god, we gotta have it, we gotta get in there quick. But if you're like me, it also creates the opposite. Like, it reverbs your customer in such a way that you're like, I don't even want to get anywhere near this, because I feel like I can feel that. Like, I guess it's the addiction aspect of it. Like, some people who like stuff, it's like it digs into them, and other people remember the fact that it dug into them. You know, they remember that this feels addictive in nature. Or, yeah. Let me catch up with chat and I gotta use the washroom. Fluff says, builds need to feel worthwhile. Weapons need to not bypass the need to have specific builds. The crossbow bolt gimmick didn't seem to even work in the way that they wanted it to. Yeah. Fluff says, while I got an ascended Lovestruck ooh, that's huge, actually. Holy shit, Lovestruck Boo is amazing. That's amazing, Fluff. Golly. Fluff says, and finally, I got a decent Salt and Battery with lightning. Ooh, a roll to have a bonus melee against badass bosses. Fluff killing it out here, getting all those drops. I love hearing about it. It gives me hope. Also makes me interested in playing Wonderland again. There was a block of time there where I think I was the only one playing it, because I was making builds and whatnot, and I was like, it's like, am I betting on a dying horse? Yes, but it's not the first time. not the first time. Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta use the washroom. Talk about yourself. My back. I'm back. Let's find something else to look at. This is getting boring. The rat's tail, whatever it's called. What are we looking at? Let's do... I didn't watch Vermintide. It was cool. I enjoyed watching the Vermintide gameplay thing. Ooh. Steph says WB. Why are you coding with me right now? What does WB mean? Well, we'll be back? Is that what does that mean? God damn it. Dude, this is the most where I feel like a fucking disconnected boomer. Welcome back. That's what I mean. Thank you. Thank you, Steph. I always feel like there's nothing that makes me more like frustrated with my generational gaps or whatever. When people be doing the whole like, I can handle like lingo you know, like cap or something, I get it. That's okay. But when people condense shit to a point in which I can't, like they abbreviate crap, I'm like, what does it mean? Like, also, how much time are you saving? That's 30 seconds. What are you gonna do with it? Please. Also, my brain is, I feel my brain is just like, I should be able to parse out what it is. It's just, my brain is steaming, basically. Not easy. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, every now and again, I have to. We should have like some sort of command, which basically says, "Grin, Steam check" is what it should be, but not like check Steam the game thing, but Steam check meaning I feel myself like how do I put it? Like, they're almost like a little bit of anxiety, which I just need to be like, hey, relax, we're okay, and then I'm good. I don't know if I mask it well, but just like not then. But kind of then, when you're talking about Wonderland, there's a little part of me that's like I know when I'm doing like a run-on sentence where I'm like, I haven't shut up for like 2 minutes, and I'm like, this is, we need to calm down, because I'm getting way too into it. I'm like, especially when Fluff's writing stuff and I'm reacting to what Fluff's saying, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. I'm going down too many rabbit holes in my head. I'm just like, holy fuck, dude. I am, my brain's working too hard right now. We're supposed to have a nice chill time. Granted, I still like talking about things like this to you guys, with you guys. I just think on my end, I need to be in harmony, you know? What else should we talk about? I don't know. Oh, my body. Did anybody, I asked this before, but I'm not sure if anyone knows. GameRanks just made a video about a new anime game coming out. I'm not sure if it's like, I wish I knew the name. It looks like kind of cool. Kind of looks reminiscent of like a JRPG type thing. I don't know what it's called though, but it looked neat. I'm not sure if it's worth checking out though, because I'm not sure. Yeah, but right now we're in kind of a weird dry spot. Like, it is still a fair bit away from Saints Row land, you know, which leaving things something to be desired. But yes, I don't know. Also, I am so, how many of you guys buy something online when it's, well, Steph says, check out the Final Fantasy news? Checking out the Final Fantasy news? Oh, no, I don't think that's what it is. Maybe it is. Is that what it is, Steph? I don't think that's what it is. Or are you saying that there is Final Fantasy news that I should know about? I don't know about that. What did it get delayed? Because people were speculating that Final Fantasy was going to get delayed because, what was it? It was, God damn it. It was like, there was a game that people were assuming was going to get delayed. I don't think it was God of War. It was something else. There's like 2 games coming out where people were speculating that, like, if this comes out, that's going to get nerfed or delayed. Oh, what does that mean? I'm lost. I'm blanking on this damn thing. Don't know. They had some Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 stuff on Twitter. Huh. Okay. What was it tied to? Not you, sorry, Steph. That's not you. It's there's something like I remember there being like, there's a big debate right now in gaming where is there going to be a God of War? Is God of War coming out this year? I don't know if it is. And I think it was something in regards to Final Fantasy. If Final Fantasy was not coming out this year, then there'd be a more incentive for this other game to come out this year. What are the games coming out this year that are big poobas? Not Starfield, yes, that wouldn't be it. Saints Row, that wouldn't be it either. It's like a game people are speculating is going to get delayed. I don't think it'd be God of War because, yeah, God of War is a Sony property. Son of a bitch. What is it? I don't know if you guys know. Fluff says Final Fantasy 16 is likely early next year. There's confirmation / confirmed wolf / dog companion you'll have in game. But what does anybody know what it looks like? What Final Fantasy 16 actually is? Because to me, I don't know if it's like, are we playing multiple characters, or are we playing a character that we can design, or is it a character? I think it's the guy who's guarding the prince, right? Like there's like a kid prince person who has like what is it? The god of fire in his body or something. And yeah, are we trying to protect him in some way? We're the guy who's like the bodyguard. but it seems like you jump around. So it'd be weird that you'd have a dog. It's like, yeah. Steph says something about Final Fantasy XVII's last 2 episodes for the remake. It's looking interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah, man. That remake has taken such a long time. Like, wow. Like, wow. Square Enix has a lot of games coming out in the first... Forspoken! That's what it was. Sorry. People were saying that Forspoken... People were waiting for it to get delayed, essentially, because it looked just kind of like it was undercooked when you last seen it. But also, people were speculating that Square Enix wants to have something coming out, essentially. So yeah. But I don't know. Do you guys think? I think Forspoken still could get delayed, but with Final Fantasy, I think coming out next year, people are speculating. No, they'll release Forspoken even if it's a buggy mess. Which I don't know, man. Forspoken looks like it has potential, but granted, it looks also like a little rough. It looks like it's not gonna have as much polish as like Infamous Second Son with the movement and whatnot. Well, the movement actually looks great. It's everything else. Like the numbers and the splashing off of enemies. Final Fantasy 16, you're solely playing as Clive, and get to play through 3 major points in his life in his teens, younger adulthood, and late adulthood. Okay, huh. Interesting. I didn't know that. I wonder how that'll be. I guess that's kind of cool to see like a person from every step of the way. Yeah, it takes for the remakes. Yeah, man. I never played the Final Fantasy, the base ones. So I'm like very. It's one of the few times in like media where I'm pretty clueless about like people were memeing on like I don't know. It's like a butter knife with what's her name? The like Tifa, not Tifa, whatever the fucking other person is. The one gets shish kebabbed apparently. I don't know. It's like a butter knife going through a cardboard cutout of her, and she's like her face, and people are like devastated. And I'm like, what? What is happening? And apparently she gets shish kebabbed. I kind of got it at the end, but yeah. Flo says a Crisis Core reunion will be in the winter, but that's bound to be anywhere between December and March. Yeah. I mean, I heard this on like the gaming thing I watched, which is called Inside Games. But it's basically people are saying like everything is getting delayed. Everything is getting delayed. And I'm like, oh. The only thing I don't think is getting delayed is Saints Row, because it's like well within ready. I'm just hoping, and this is the thing, man. I always fucking hate this so much, but like Saints Row looks like, even when Saints Row is kind of bad, it's like a decent game to play when it's bad, you know? Like, you got options, you have a fun time, there's things to do and reasons to do it, you know? I'm just hoping that, it's always, to me, it's a pain in the ass that, like, most of the time, Saints Row games are made to be, like, just one-off quick experiences, not quick experiences, but, like, one-off experiences that are contained. They usually have some cute DLCs, but that's it, you know? Where to me, I'm like, why? Like, like, especially when there's clearly, seemingly going to be a downtime point. Yeah. Also, apparently, we're gonna get a God of War update release date. Apparently, I would be surprised. I feel like it's gonna be early next year at the earliest. But I'd be shocked if it came out this year. I'd also be kind of pissed because I'm also like, I don't want to spend the money on buying it, but you know. Final Fantasy 17 region will be next winter. Okay, gotcha. Fluff says they also started this Final Fantasy 16 will be an open world. Won't be open world, and will be more of a focused story, delivering high quality stories. I don't know what I don't know what worked out better. I knew a lot of people. I don't know. I think it was actually kind of a mixed bag. Some people like the open world aspect of it. I like that. I've always liked open world games, but yeah. Also, I feel like it. I don't know. I feel like Final Fantasy VII, the previous one with the fucking boy band, basically. Also, that is so on the nose about like a boy band, like legitimately like a K-pop group, like a punk metal K-pop group. And on December module. Fluff says, talking about Arthur's death from the original not Arthur's, Irith's death from the original Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, I guess it's not too much of a spoiler because it happened in the beginning. Also, I think it happens quick. Lone Secret says also, in the counter side, the character Edel, she is a bit unique, and her gameplay revolves around her being able to summon the main enemy you fight in the game, and she can send them to attack enemies. And when she kills an enemy, they turn into another one of her creatures. The weird part of her kit is that she is a sniper class. Yeah, I feel like that's bullshit. I understand limitations within game design or whatever, but I also feel like that's a bit of a cop-out. Come on. I guess it makes sense. Like, the summoner probably is a squishy, so they want to stay back, but at the same time, what a lame thing. I feel like that's probably like the Overlord thing, which is like, why isn't... Man, sorry to interrupt myself, but... that's one of the things I always thought would be such a fun idea for an Overlord sequel, which they kind of did in the worst possible way. But wouldn't it be fun if there was not like co-op, although kind of would be fun, but sure. But if there would be multiple versions of your Overlord. So there'd be like the warrior type, which is like just jacked and like a huge armor-cladded knight, kind of like the classic Overlord. But what if there was also like an archer? What if there was also like an assassin type, like basically Borderlands builds that you could go into this encounter with? And like a world to play around in and that kind of thing, but never did it. Or if it did, they had like a weird spin-off of Overlord games, and it was just shitty. It was just shitty. Also, I love in the Overlord games that you basically start off as like this creepy kid with a hood on, with like glowing eyes, but then you in the third game, I think you have like, or second game maybe. You have like this like Irish redhead who is like your BFF, but she also is kind of like a menace. But she's also like nicest of all the girls that you have under your like weird thing. And yeah, it's just a weird game, but charming nevertheless. My nose is locked up, boy. Whew. Fluff says, and it may have not happened. I'm still holding out hope for Spider-Man, that it's coming to Avengers after they've announced Spidey showing up in Midnight Suns, and both Insomniac and Miles Morales are coming to PC this year. I also figure they won't talk about it until 1 year exclusivity timer runs out. Yeah, I mean, that was something that surprised everybody about Wonderland, right, Fluff? Or at least what I was hearing, people were blown away that Wonderland was supposed to, well, seemingly, maybe, was supposed to stay on Epic Store for a long period of time. Like, it's rare that it's not a half a year cycle, essentially, or half a year or 6 months of exclusivity, essentially what it is. But it randomly kind of came out, and they didn't really, it kind of was pretty random. Like, they weren't like, hey, if you've been wanting this, it was just like, it's out. Like, we found about it the week that it was going, the week that it was on Steam, so a little odd. Also, since Jane Foster is about to come out, they don't want to play down the hype for her by saying some other character is coming out for a PC and Xbox. Yeah, I also wonder though, there are also some Marvel characters that I don't know how many people are like juiced about. Granted, I guess that game does make sense because of the vocal minority who are comic book fans who are like, holy shit, this character is so interesting if you read this much in the manga or whatever, the manga, the comic book. And Lone Singers is not sure if I saw the repost of my first passage because I noticed you skipped over the. I'm sorry, Lone Singers. You always show. Unfortunately, Lone Singers, I don't have my mouse. I had to plug it in to charge. It's been like 6 months. I was waiting for it to like pop. And it finally did, so I can't scroll up. So if your comment gets eaten, I have to literally get up and walk over, scroll up, and sit back down, which is a little much. So if you could be so kind to repost things, I kind of still piece together what you were saying. Now I know you play, certain types of games on mobile, etc. And I imagine this was just one of those games, and that was one of the characters that existed in the game. So I kind of put 2 and 2 together. I hope I was somewhat correct. But yeah, Steph says, gonna skip out early. Sorry, thanks for the great chat. Bye now for everyone. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Steph. Lone Singing says, bye, Steph. Everyone enjoy your night. Yeah. Steph says, thank you too. Love says, I think despite initial success and sales, they likely need more sales to make up with the negotiation part for the DLC. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Fluff says, I'm still I'm still looking forward to She-Hulk and especially War Machine. Hopefully the latter hasn't been canceled. Yeah, I'm surprised that game is still cooking, because I know Marvel or whatever was really disappointed with the game's sales or something like that, but I hope it bounces back. I think it's one of those games that's getting better over time. Like, people are like, okay, now it's fun, because it's kind of just a game that kind of gets a bump every single time there's a Marvel movie, I think, which makes sense. Fluff says, I'm still. Oh, I was gonna say, Fluff, are you excited for the She-Hulk movie? Because I heard a lot of people be kind of in between about that. Like the CGI people were saying looks really freakish, but also kind of cool that we get to me, my take on that whole thing, man, is that I'm just excited that we're living in a world where crazy concepts and ideas seem to be really normalized, which is fun. I think my favorite stories are the ones that kind of are quite strange, So yeah, it's fun to see that this weird thing is actually fun. Fluff says, supposedly after embracing a group, bought up Eidos and Crystal Dynamics. Okay, I don't know what that Eidos is. They want to put more into Avengers rather than just moving into a new game. That's a good idea, man. To me, I think game developers are in this weird state where I feel like they're very much more, they're doing the EA thing where it's just easier to wash your hands of a bad experience. But I don't know, man. Especially just I never used to think this way really, because I used to never really get invested. But maybe it's just the older I get, I'm getting more insulted, I guess, with a bad experience, a really bad experience, where I'm almost I paid for this, and normally I'd be I'm a kid in school or high school, wherever it was, and I'd be I'm less abrasive to that, yeah. But now I find I'm even more cynical about it. If I could never support EA again, I would. And I always used to laugh at people doing that, because I'm well, what if it's a good game? What if they pull something out of their ass and now you're saying that? And I'm well, then maybe, but even then I still just feel I don't want to it's kind of the feeling I talked to you guys about this before, but it's kind of the feeling I feel when it's 10% of this feeling, so it's not a lot, but it's the feeling of this company to me has wasted an opportunity, but I understand why they didn't take the opportunity, because the opportunity could have fucked up their sales. So I understand that from a business point of view, but also part of me doesn't want to support the people that it's easy to be good when you have something to gain from being good. It's hard to be good when you have nothing to gain for that. Granted, good is subjective, hard really in this stage, and maybe everybody loves the state of Genshin as is. I'm the asshole. That's totally fair. I 100% don't mean to be selfish in the sense that I need this or I deserve this or whatever. So yeah, but yeah, that's kind of my feeling on it. Yeah. Oh, Crystal Dynamics is the developers of Tomb Raider. Well, yeah, was that what happened, Fluff? I remember I heard someone there was an acquisition that happened. It was I think Square Enix was it Square Enix? Maybe that's what you're trying to say right there. Yeah, I think maybe some company bought a lot of the devs that were the makers of Tomb Raider. I think that's what Fluff's talking about. Yeah, I heard about that too. Oh, my body. Both were bought by Square Enix by Embracer Group, aka TH. Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I heard. TH Nordic. Oh, my body. TH Nordic bought up a bunch of shit, which is funny because I wouldn't have expected that. Or maybe you're saying, no, I think that means AKA. Fluff says, and it seems like a good thing that least exciting games and future titles become Square Enix. Was not happy with the sales of either Marvel games, and they were bound to cut ties with those Western devs. Yeah. Which to me, man, oftentimes I always like to push back on that idea. I think publishers will license an agreement and be cool, now you have to make it, and then game devs are what is it? And they're you'll figure it out, and they're what's our time schedule? And they're yeah, 4 years, and they're you have to have something in order to be able to predict what that thing is going to be and how long it's going to take to make, I think. I find a lot of companies, I could see them just with like licensing, and they're like a corporate entity being like, I just got this huge acquisition, like this huge sale of like, I know the Marvel guy, they're interested in it, let's move on this now before someone else bites, gets the thing. And they're kind of like, I'm sure some poor developers like, I like the opportunity, but what if it's not done? And they're like, yeah, no, it's gonna go out. And you're like, what? What the fuck, man? So yeah, but again, I don't mean to be too kind to developers so much, so to speak, because I'm pretty like, it's always the publisher, publisher is important, and it's usually two people being a part of the poor structure essentially. But in my experience, a lot of the although I think, I'm not sure if it was Fluff or Nub, I think both of you guys were maybe saying this, but you guys were pointing out that like, I don't think at this point within development of video games that it's super detached. I think it's probably like, hey, you also need to be a salesperson. You make the video game, you make Destiny, whatever. You also need to be the salesperson. Also, that was something I seen the other day, man. I seen a Destiny 2 has its final expansion for its current arc that's been going on since Destiny 1. And there's like the next expansion is going to be something called Eclipse or something with an E, I think, or reservation or some sort of weird, like, after this DLC is concluded, everything past or after, like, that came to that point will be concluded, I guess. A lot of the loose ends will be tied up, with a few being not. But I'm just curious to see what Destiny becomes after this, especially with the DLC, where this correlates with Sony buying Destiny, which, by the way, I don't think I ever laughed. Ha! So when that happened, which we should have, which was like, people were like, dude, oh my god, Destiny is, Destiny finally broke hold of the evil tyrant Activision. And look at them now, they're still marketing a lot of skins with very limited adding and just revamping nostalgia weapons from D1. Okay. Well, turns out nothing really changed there. Anyways, secondly, immediately took an offer from PlayStation. Like, what? It's just one of those things where you're like, oh, you're awful. I just don't like you at this point. I don't know, you're horrible. Also, it's probably on people, probably on like consumers as well. The idea that, like, why are you predisposing your mortal thoughts on this company, this company that does something, because that company made something that I loved for years and had boundless potential, and then they made the same thing that the game was beforehand, and then it was equally worse, if not worse, than the base game, which was hard because Destiny 1 started off as a shithole. And yeah. Also, did Fluff reply to the She-Hulk thing? The movie, which I hope for, because I enjoy the game's depth and issues they've had. Bungie did a great job proving that it's not just the publisher, and the shareholders that can be fault for the poor marketers. That's a good point. But also, I do think there's like, to me, when I look at the structure of a business, I also think there's like the person that needs to be the big bad wolf, essentially, and be like, hey, idiot, we need to sell something, because if we don't, we're fucked. We need to put something out. Like, this is a thing that, like, it was a constant thing I heard all the time about in game development, which was basically people who just didn't finish shit. And it was just like, no, like, even if it's not what you want, you have to at least put something out, because that, like, will enable us to make something, and we've clearly will learn from this, and we'll be able to be more efficient, we'll be able to next time make something perfect, And who's to say that, all the things that we're betting on, was like not worth, like, all the other things we wanted to add, maybe that would have actually made it worse and made it cluttered. But yeah, I think it's way easier to think of like them in that regard, to like a person who's like has to step in and say stop, and then the person who has to say nope, it's not ready yet, we need more, and there to be that healthy dynamic. But maybe now that it's happening, I think they're probably training all of them to be in that same way. Although again, I don't know when was the last game that we played that was genuinely unique? At least, I get, maybe this is a very loaded question because it depends on who you are as a person, but like, I don't know. Of course, I'm talking about like third person, first person kind of game. I feel maybe like a cute indie games are usually good, but a game that genuinely was like super interesting. Dying Light was a good example, but also Dying Light 2 was a good example. But yeah, part of me wonders if there's something missing a little bit there. Yeah, shit. Like I wonder if the game did some cool things, but it didn't have like. Oh, it had actually cool side quests. Yeah, I wish it had more RPG mechanics, like more skill tree stuff. But yeah, I think I actually Dying Light 2 actually had a lot of cool things. You could get like crazy, like you could get a grapple hook that you could like zip up the side of a hill or the side of a wall. You could fly basically indefinitely. You could like level up and you could hit stuff really fucking hard. I wish the combat was a little more varied and like tough and like buildable. Like I wish there was a strength stat that you could just put all your points into and like hit a zombie and like concuss them back and hit the wall. Yeah, I think that game actually is a pretty good example of, to me, a game that was surprising that it actually tried and did things, you know. But largely, I can't remember the last game that we played that genuinely like blew me away in terms of what it did. Like kind of like a Fable, kind of like a Shadows of the Damned, like games that had crazy weird style, or even like a Destiny 1. To be fair to like Destiny 1, that was a pretty interesting concept. Empowered a lot of the MMO mechanics. Loved it to bits when I was playing it, that kind of thing. Dying Light, Let It Die is also a game that has incredible style. Also is very different. Let It Die probably is up there actually for a game that's genuinely unique. But yeah. Also, what's good, Nanny? Nanny says hi. What's good, Nanny? Does anyone know if Buns is streaming? God, I hope she streams at the fucking same time we stream, man. We gotta pay her back. I think she's. Well, I'm 0-2 at this point. She's destroyed me, basically, and she's such good people. Fluff says retrieved. I'm looking forward to a She-Hulk Disney Plus show. Is it a show? Oh, I thought it was a movie. Oh, okay, that's more interesting actually. Same goes for anything Marvel or Star Wars going on to Disney. I'm also apprehensive about the new Thor film, as it has a lot of hints towards going in the same direction all the rest have been going in Phase 4. Really? I thought the Thor one looked cute, although I think Chris Hemsworth is just peak, frankly. Just seeing him be charismatic and shit. Buns is not streaming. God damn it, Buns. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a video also out on our Brothers GRINN channel. It's about us talking about the new DLC. Is it worth it? Is it not? Just in case anyone's curious, if anyone wants to see like a breakdown of what it actually has, what it looks like, stuff like that. So check that out if you want. But who should we go stream or raid? Is Lucas streaming? Let me look. I'll get up. Oh, my back. Oh, I gotta do this. Big version of me. Let me check. I have nobody. I'm alone in this world. I don't have anybody. The man needs a name. The man being me. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I gotta look at the comment. Goddamn it. Okay. This. I said this. Okay. Oh, I gotta work out after this, dude. I'm so not in the workout mood. I'm so not in the workout mood. Fluff says, I feel like there was a lot more positive from Dying Light 2 despite the janky and limitations. Yeah, you know, I think that I agree with that. I appreciated that it did seem like it genuinely tried stuff that was new, you know. And again, and to me, it seemed like there was more gameplay options than there was very pretty designed areas, you know, which I enjoyed. The takeaway from D2 was that least moderately positive. The takeaway from Destiny 2 was at least moderately positive. Genshin and Wonderlands have left a feeling of wanting. Yeah, for me, man, I think it's just because I was so deep into Destiny 1 fluff, and yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if you were like I was. That's what I did for like every day after school. I came back, I played Destiny, I grinded. I had friends that were there, and it was such a good experience. And every patch, it got better and it got improved, and it started to hone its investment that was made essentially. Like, it got better and better with every update. So I have a reverence and love for Destiny 1. But then when Destiny 2 came out, I was so mad, because it was just like everything that we worked for the entire year of support and DLCs and improvements we made were gone. We're like 100% gone. And mistakes that they made and they fucking ate shit, broke their teeth on the concrete kind of shit, like bad failures. But the community stuck through it. We killed like Hive people for like 20 years, basically. And yeah, but to me, I just feel like it was such a fucking kick in the face when the Destiny 2 made all of the same problems. And I got even more frustrated when they kept uploading fucking like guns that we already had. Like it was basically just selling us the nostalgia that we had in the first game rather than making new shit. So I have very, very negative experiences with Destiny. Even though I love the game, like the gunplay is great. I have so much hatred for the potential wasted, the mistakes, and not having learned from the mistakes at all. And then yeah, it just makes me like frustrated basically because I loved that game like a lot. Like probably would have been if Destiny 1 just progressed. And like they updated the engine, the look, and they just kept all the the legendaries, the weapons, etc. Like the idea that like, oh, you worked so hard to get this Galahorn, and then for them to bring it back in this sequel game for like a week for you to get it, was just insulting. Like make a new fucking gun, make a new gun that's good. Like stop giving us we got like shit that we already got back again. Like, oh, here's a PvP map that you already had. Like to me it was like Destiny 1 was the epitome of genuine creativity, and Destiny 2 was the epitome of just hollowness. Like no chances taken, no creativity given. It just felt like it was a rehash, and I think now it's better. I think my jadedness aside, I think Destiny 2 is in a better state. But yeah. But yeah, we might have just different perspective. Buzz is not streaming right now. Thank you for telling me, Lone. I'm worried that all we've seen from the trailers is all we get out of the Chris Hemsworth / Thor, but it's mostly focused on Jane. Yeah, that's a good fear actually, Fluff, where they're like, see, like he's passing on the torch, and everyone's like, no, no, we're good. Oh yeah, if 90% of that movie is like her and the Valkyrie just vibing, I'm gonna be real peeved because I want to see Fat Thor be not fat, be cringe, be hard to watch, but also awesome. Yes, that. I'd say Thor is the most human of all the Avengers. That probably is gonna get ripped up though. Tony Stark is the best. I'm sure he is. He's great. But yeah, Thor is just like a mess. But like we're all a mess, you know. Sumeru is she's in her suggestions. Okay, we might rate her then. Fluff. A been a while since we rate. Yeah. Fluff says Dying Light 2, as in Dying Light. Yeah. Nanny says how have you been, Grin? I'm still playing God of War 4. Ooh, how you enjoying it? I just gotta say, Talisman of Betrayal is broken. Which one is that? Have you gotten to the point yet, Nanny? Where you get your fucking the chain things? Have you gotten to that point? Tell me that's not the most tingly fucking execution of nostalgia / even if you're not nostalgic about it, it's still like, oh yeah, and then you rock them and they land, baby, they land. Red says, I love Destiny 1. I lost interest after seeing Destiny 2. Yeah, I feel like it's a fair point, man. I feel like that's, yeah, I stuck with it, man. I stuck with Destiny 2 for a long time. I think that's what also makes me so mad, is that like, I was like, okay, you know, yeah, there's the same problems that we've already patched and been through, but maybe they've gotten faster at patching them. And then they started releasing like weapons that were already existing in the previous game, and I was just like, and then the new legendaries were horrible. Like horrible, and I just got more agitated and angry. But yes, I got GMGOW plus what a hardest version of anger. Ooh, you fucking already pushed past that, man. God damn, you're already doing the you do like the like the end game thing where you're in like the Niflheim, I think it's like the fog place with like weird changing places. But you're already in end game, golly. Red says, I don't know. I don't like Bungie. Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. Dude, I don't know what it is, but these last couple years have just made me, so many developers that I had so much faith in, I fucking hate them. Like, the only one I can think of is the Fable devs, the Suda 51, in some ways Grasshopper manufacturers still, and THQ, specifically the Saints Row people. I think that's it. Granted, that's not it. It's just that those are the ones that, like, to me have a claim, and I think they haven't fucked up the momentum yet. Insomniac Sucker Punch is also great ones. Yeah, sorry, good point. Those ones are great too. There's a couple. There's a couple that still seem like they don't miss and they're fair. I know there's like everyone needs to make money. I understand that, but at the very least, it seems like we got a lot out of here. We got a lot of fairness out of here. You know, like we got something that was worth, or at least arguably worth, what we were sold, I guess, you know? The Talisman of Betrayal is one of the infinite time shift glitches. Oh, I never got that deep into the end game, like a speed run type thing, Nanny, if that's what you're talking about. Because, yeah, I always just knew that it was like, I don't know, there was a couple of like for fighting the Valkyries, because everything you could kill, it was just the Valkyries that required so much aggro. Also, probably not. I probably just played them super aggressive. Fluff says, if so, I'll keep the 50% company damage whilst action skill is active. If they don't count, I'll keep rolling it. Yeah, smart. Capcom was doing okay, but they also dropped the ball recently. Yeah. To me, man, I guess that's my feeling, Red. My feeling is like when there's certain things that are done that feel like it's just like either like super against the consumer or muted to response. Like they're almost like they've forgotten feedback. Like it's almost like they've lost all of the previous lessons that they've learned. It makes you as a person who's consuming their content kind of like, why are we making the same mistakes that we already kind of had to push through? Like I thought we learned these lessons, that this is not a good outcome. Like if we don't, like if this is what our players screamed at us for, we're doing the same thing. Like those are the things that make me feel terrible. Also, when like I love Ubisoft. I genuinely I've liked them for such a long time, but I'm finally getting to the point where I want them to make, like, I feel like at this point they should know that like the reason why their sales are dipping is not because, you know, what do you call it, the goddamn Ghost Recon game that they made. It's not because people don't like the pay as a service thing necessarily. It's because their pay as a service isn't very good. It doesn't have incentives really built in. They're doing the NFT thing now, you know. Like to me, I'm like make an Assassin's Creed, like it's funny because I think they should have learned that, like, hey, now is the time when we should make a revamp of the entire system of Assassin's Creed again, because at this point I think it's been enough games. Maybe I think it's like 4 games. Yeah. So at this point, maybe it's a good idea that we change up the formula again. We maybe try a different perspective on it, something. And granted, they are getting ready to do that with this weird like Assassin's Creed Next or something. But yeah, I'm hoping that stuff works out. Yeah. How so? They are dropping the ball. But this is nowhere near the dark age of Capcom. Resident Evil 8, SF6. Monster Hunter Rise, especially Sunbreak, things are mostly on the up on the campaign nowadays. Yeah, that's also the other thing. There's some like, again, to me, I think Bethesda is also one of those companies for me, where like, even though I know that like the way they did paid mods, little yucky. The way they did Fallout 76, which apparently is in a better state now, little yucky, but they still just have so much, to me, goodwill. Like, even, again, I say it, but even when they're bad, it's still pretty good, you know? And yeah, even when they miss, they still like shotgun blast enough to where whatever they hit, it dies. You know, like it hits. Largely that's it being helped by modding community, but still. And they haven't been trying to incorporate loot boxes and NFTs into their games, unlike the other Japanese companies or Ubisoft. Red says yes, fair enough. Fluff says Street Fighter V was probably the last example of Dark Age, and since then it's been doing quite better. Yeah. I feel like I felt that right around the time when Monster Hunter came out, where I was like, oh, okay, I see you, Capcom. There's a lot of value here and a lot of interest and a lot of like. It seemed like a really good game for the value that you got from it, you know. Whoever is in charge of the recent updates for Resident Evil 2 RE2R shit the bed though. Fluff says it's been over 10 years of being accustomed to what Bethesda does or what it expects of them. So I simply expect Starfield to be a solid sandbox that modders will hopefully have many field days with. Yeah, exactly. You're like, it's gonna be buggy, it's gonna be shitty. There's probably gonna be a couple builds that I can do, with one build being the absolute supreme best. There's probably going to be melee, but there's probably going to be no way to regenerate health, so you're going to have to spend a ton of money on stim packs / whatever healing exists, which is weird because melee does not do more damage than guns, and yet you will have to take damage consistently because you'll have to run at an enemy, and that takes time, but still, melee will be okay. Will be okay. And yeah, and enemies will T-pose and like kind of like drop out of nowhere. They'll be doing this, and they'll just drop, and they'll be like, "Hello," or like, "Good day we're having, right?" Like, oh my god, I just dropped out of the sky, or some bullshit, and they'll be just Timmy being like, "Have you heard about this mine over in area?" And then you'll walk back 50 times, and you hear Timmy say that a billion times, and then you want to throw punch Timmy in the throat because, stop it, Timmy. Anyways, regardless, like you said, Fluff. Still good. It's a lot, but it's still good. Or like I said, we're custom. Yes, there is a melee. Already saw proof of that in the, well, at least in Starfield there's a dash. So at least you can dash at an enemy. So it's not like, at least that's something. That's an improvement to the melee system. There's also a trait that benefits going in slow-mo with the non-human companions, introverts. And then the opposite of having human companions, extroverts. All right, let's not say that. I don't know why they're doing that. What if I wanna have people around me, but I just want to be in a dark room and then be away from me? I still want them. It's like you're stronger with each other than you are apart. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we gotta end it because I gotta go exercise, and I'm fucking gassed up. I feel my lungs like exhausted. I didn't even talk that much today. Jesus. Who should we go? I think we're rating the person that I have actually benchmarked in my thing. If I don't, I'll just scroll up and get Fluff's comment, who offered it, or just that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day. I'm off to go exercise. There's a video out. I don't think now. I'll publish it as soon as the stream ends. It's just a video of us on Tiny Tina's Wonderland, just vibing, showing you guys the new content, seeing if it's worth its salt, all that stuff. Alas, thank you kindly for your time. Hopefully enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye. Also, streaming tomorrow will be a Saints Row smorgasbord of making a waifu, all that. Okay, bye.